Hello and welcome back to FIFA Manager 2019 and the experiments here where we're simming 100 years into the future and we are currently 80 years into the future. And what does that mean? Well, it means I'm poorer than ever and I'm one of the most, or not the most, one of the oldest persons on this earth, since I'm 111 years old right now, as you hear me saying this and speaking and showing you this episode. Or maybe it's not actually just that way it works. Anyway, we'll check out Premier League in a second, but before that, remember to smash that like button if you enjoyed this series, this episode and anything like that. And if you have any comments, thoughts on this episode or ideas for simming or doing anything else of experiment here in FIFA Manager updated to the 2019 database, do leave a comment and I read everything and I will take everything you write into very careful consideration to do another series like this. Hopefully this works out and is a good series and hopefully you like it and hopefully you can get a really good suggestions or things like that, and it will be much appreciated. And if you haven't done so, of course, hit that subscribe button as well so you're not missing the last and final episode coming up to you shortly here at Rawslowgaming. With everything said like that, let's go to the Premier League and let's check out Arsenal here and records. So Arsenal, or Wolverhampton Wanderers actually being the title winners last season around, and they won the Premier League actually for not that many years ago. So Wolverhampton Wanderers being a top club here in 2090. So look out for Wolverhampton Wanderers in the 2090s. Might be a dangerous club then. And we have Liverpool, yet again, doing very good throughout these last 20 years, to winning the league 6 out of 20 times. And if you haven't watched the series before in FIFA Manager, you can only look back 20 years, unfortunately. So one of the reasons that we are doing 20 years at a time. So if you want to see everything, watch from the beginning, and also if you want to see the development for everything, you gotta string it together, and you can make a spreadsheet or something like that, how the Premier League will develop over the next 100 years or so. And another club that have done really well for themselves here are Derby County, getting third last year around. Been on a pretty stable run here, climbing steadily and making a name for themselves here in the Premier League. Manchester United winning the Premiership 3 years here in the 2080s. They were really good, but here in the 2019s things seems to be not really going quite as well. Tottenham Hotspur being pretty much up and down here, but having decently these last few 10 years or so. Anyway, actually, winning the league 2 times. Sunderland being very stable here in the middle, but having a little bit of a love for the 6th place, being 6th 5 times out of these 20 years. So their favorite position, and they were that last year as well. Arsenal having a little bit of a slump here, not having too good of a run, winning the league only 1 time in these last 20 years. Manchester City winning the title quite many times here actually, with 6 times in the last 20 years, but last season and the season before that coming only 7th and 8th, so having a little bit of a trouble currently, it seems like, in the league. And here we have another low-level team, not a low-level team, a lower league team from the beginning, Yeovil Town, that finished 9th in the Premier League. And then they've been steady the last 20 years or so, started here in Skybet Championship, winning Skybet Championship 3 times actually, and winning Skybet League 1 time here as well. So a very interesting drop here actually from the year 2080. They dropped and were 23rd in Skybet Championship. The year after, they were only 7th in Skybet League 1, which is a little bit weak. The year after, they won Skybet League 1, and the year after that, they won the Skybet Championship as well. So pretty impressive there, and pretty impressive goal difference as well. 69 in Skybet League 1, of course not as crazy in Skybet Championship, but still 36 in goal difference, so that's pretty impressive. And after that, a little bit of yo-yo between Skybet League 1 and Premier League, but after that, from 2089 and to now 2098, steadily climbing and steadily getting better here in Premier League. So Rawslowgaming Town, a team to look out for maybe here the next 20 years. Southampton still being very stable, totally in the middle, and the same thing can be said here for Bristol City and pretty much for Leicester as well. And Swansea can fall into that category as well, pretty darn stable. Chelsea have made it back to the Premier League, so that's good, but they are now definitely struggling and are being in the bottom end of the Premier League and have dropped down a couple of times to Skybet Championship, but bouncing right back up to Premier League straight after that. But still, Chelsea, not a team to root for in the years 2080 to 2090. If we were to believe this, they will be struggling. And another team from the bottom leagues, and another team that is very fond of me actually, because Kettering Town, that's one of the teams that I always used to choose in a couple of different years when they were in Veteran National League South or North. And yeah, and also I think no, I didn't choose Kettering Town when I picked the wrong team here in this series, but yeah. Anyway, they have been steadily in the Skybet Championship here the last between 20 and 10 years ago, and after that been pretty stable in the lowest half of the Premier League. Still a very impressive run here, getting up to the Premier League. And then we have Hereford, another lower league team, which also made it up to the Premier League here, and they have been pretty stable here in the last 20 years as well, with fighting between Premier League and the top of the Skybet Championship. And then we have York City, that unfortunately have dropped down a little bit in their development and are now looking to be maybe kicked out of the Premier League. And Oxford United is unfortunately nowhere to be seen either, so they have dropped down out of the league. And then we have Bolton Wanderers that have finally made it back to Premier League here and actually been pretty stable as well, with yo-yoing between the Premier League and the top end of the Skybet Championship. And then we have our love, our team, so to say. Bath City have made it to the Premier League here. We're actually already made it to the Premier League 2096, but got a really good place in our first season, actually 13th, but after that getting lost and getting relegated, but the year after that up to second place in Skybet Championship again and getting up to the Premier League again. Very, very well done of them. And Macclesfield, the last team in the Premier League, another team that have come from the lower leagues. They've been pretty stable here in Skybet League 1 and Skybet Championship, actually going back and forth between the leagues and pretty much up and down in them as well. That's crazy, one could almost say, but they have done a good run here from 2094, coming last in Skybet Championship and then came second in Skybet League 1 and then steadily going up here and getting promoted this year up to the Premier League for their first season in the Premier League. And as we know, of course, they can have been some time before for some reason, but never mind that. So let's have a look at Bath City and see the value. What value have we come up to now? So the club value is now 434 million, which is pretty darn good, and our team rating up to 753. So as you see, 18th in the Premier League, pretty darn bad for the Premier League, but still we made it to the Premier League here in this simulation. It only took us, let's see here, almost 8 years, 78 or 77 years. So that's nothing. So you can look forward to a Let's Play series with Bath City once we get all correct set up. And maybe that series will be out now, where we have everything correct set up and we don't need to do any more restarts. I don't quite know, because everything is recorded so much in ahead of time. But anyway, you can look forward to a series running 77 years then in game time. So hope you will enjoy that. So let's take a look again at our European stats and our current championship. So we have Celtic, no shock there. Cork City for Ireland, that's well done. Wolverhampton Wanderers, a little bit of a surprise of course. We have Real Madrid for Spain still. Football Club de Porto, don't sound like a surprise, but it's new. And we have Olympique de Marseille for France. We have Inter for Italy. And Ufikrete for Greece, and that sounds like a surprise for me at least. We have K Racing Club Genk still, and we have AFC Ajax, and Borussia Dortmund, and we have Halmstad BK for Sweden, and Football Club Midtjylland for Denmark. So no real surprises here, I'd say, but seems to be the usual suspects here. So let's check the market values. Can we see even higher than 114 million? That would be something else. So let's see here. Celtic being very poor. Spain or Portugal actually being pretty decent with 56.8 million. And we have 124 million for a D-kök. It's actually the kitchen if you look at that in Swedish. A little bit funny. So let's see here. Well, 28-year-old player that are base level 94 and 1 extra level for experience. So definitely a very good player, and I think we'll see him more here in our different categories here. So France doing really well as well. Fernandez at market value 109, 23-year-old player at level 87. Piano for Inter at 90.8 million. Seidel for Borussia Dortmund at 105 million, 22 years old, at level 87. So pretty much the same as it always have been so far. And then England, how will you do? Not too great actually. Spain winning this year. So we have Nedeljkovic, a 22-year-old player at level 85, but full talent. So let's look at the highest salaries then. And I think Spain will probably win this one as well. Yilmaz here we do have for Manchester United at £500,000 per year, or is it per week? I don't remember. It must be per week, of course. But anyway, left back at level 91, 2 extra for experience, 31-year-old, so definitely feels like a pretty suitable wage of sorts. So let's see, we have Versteg, a 20-year-old player at only level 83. And he's actually having a really bad moment with confidence low, morally annoyed, and form pretty low as well. So heavily based on that getting so low. And yeah, I have the future ahead of him, of course. So earning so much being 21 years old, that's pretty darn amazing. Fernandez being the top earned player in France, and Manager here in Inter for Italy. So then, of course, we have the Cook, as we know, for Spain. And let's have a look here on the caps. So he's done 53 matches and 35 goals, which is good, of course, but not as crazy that we had someone else doing like 35 matches and 50 plus goals. So the best outfield players as well. Will Spain win that as well? We have Cook at level 94, of course. Do we have anyone close? Not really. Mayer at 89. Pos at level 87. Yeah, I have level 87 in Turkey as well, actually. And 93 at Yilmaz, being the most other player closest. So Spain is just winning that very narrowly, actually. As well, on the center is pretty close actually with Yilmaz there as well. Anyway, that will be everything for this episode, so remember to smash that like button if you have enjoyed it, and also if you haven't done so already, remember to hit that subscribe button so you're not missing out on our last episode coming up to you shortly here at Rawslowgaming. With that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.